Every single breath you are taking right now is a direct result of a million successful panic attacks. You think you are here because your ancestors were smart, or strong, or brave. You aren't. You are here because they were terrified. Fear is the single most successful survival mechanism in the history of the planet. And it is the only reason your bloodline didn't end in the jaws of a predator. But the way fear works today is completely broken. 2 million years ago, the African Savannah, you hear a sudden rustle in the tall grass. The apes who stopped to logically analyze what caused the rustle? Dead. The apes who just ran without asking questions? They survived to pass on their genes. You are the genetic echo of the paranoid, the jumpy, the deeply anxious. Your brain was built to assume the absolute worst, because assuming the worst kept you breathing. But then, humanity did something that changed fear forever. We tamed fire. We dragged it into the center of the camp. And we sat in a circle with our backs to the light, staring out into the pitch black. Before fire, fear was simple. You saw the physical threat, you ran. But in the dark, you couldn't see anything. So your brain had to invent things to be afraid of. This was the birth of the unknown. The birth of monsters, spirits, demons, the things that go bump in the night. Fear shifted from the physical world into the psychological one. We started fearing what we couldn't see. And more importantly, we started fearing each other. Because in a tight-knit tribe sitting around that fire, your greatest threat to survival wasn't the lion in the dark. It was being exiled from the light. Shame, rejection, social death, which in the ancient world meant actual death. And that ancient wiring is still sitting inside your skull right now. When a threat appears today, a visual signal hits your thalamus and takes a microscopic shortcut straight to a tiny almond-shaped cluster of neurons, the amygdala. It bypasses your conscious thought entirely. This is the biological fast lane. It takes exactly 12 milliseconds. Your conscious brain doesn't process the threat until 40 milliseconds later. You jump, you flinch, your heart spikes. Before you even know what you were looking at, your body is reacting to a ghost. And this 12-millisecond hijack explains something incredibly weird about modern humans. Why do we pay money to be terrified? Why do we sit in dark theaters or stare at screens watching horror movies? Because when the monster jumps out, your amygdala dumps a massive cocktail of adrenaline and dopamine. But then, milliseconds later, your prefrontal cortex wakes up and realizes you are sitting in a comfortable chair. You are safe. You get the biological high of surviving a lethal threat without actually being in danger. Horror isn't just entertainment. It's a biological flight simulator. We are practicing survival. But here's where the system completely breaks down. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a physical predator and a psychological one. The chemical dump is exactly the same. But today, the predators don't leave. The tiger isn't in the grass anymore. The tiger is your inbox. The tiger is your bank account. The tiger is the glowing rectangle in your pocket, blasting you with global tragedies at 11 p.m., pumping jet fuel into an engine that is stuck in park. We are bathing our nervous systems in a chronic drip of survival chemicals for threats we cannot fight and cannot run away from. Your hardware hasn't been updated, not in 2 million years. You are still that paranoid ape on the savannah, listening to the grass rustle. Only now, the grass is the news feed, and it never, ever stops rustling.